Virtual Faculty Development Program on the topic Contemporary Trends in English Language and Literature. The FDP was planned to enhance the research and analytic oriented approach of the participants, and we hope that at the end of the day, we'll be able to fulfill the same. So, without any further delay, I request our HOD, Head of the Department, Dr. Gurpreet Kaur, to kindly welcome our worthy resource person and also to give you the introduction about the whole program. So now over to Dr. Gurpreet Kaur.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Postgraduate Department of English, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, Shri Anandpur Sahib, Punjab, India, I extend a very cordial welcome to the eminent dignitaries of the day, Honorable Chief Guest of this 7 days International Virtual Faculty Development Program on Contemporary Trends in English Language and Literature, Professor Dr. Charu Mehrotra, Principal, Gokul Das Hindu Girls PG College, Moradabad, Rohilkhand University, Bareilly, India. Our chief guest and guest of honor, Dr. Zuraina Ali, Associate Professor of English, Department of English, Center for Modern Languages, University, Malaysia, Pahang, Malaysia, respected Principal, Dr. Jasveer Singh, esteemed resource persons of various technical sessions, participants from India and other countries, my colleagues and student researchers. As resource persons, we have with us Dr. Dinesh Kumar from Karnal, India, Dr. I. Fioma Izine Odine from Nigeria, Dr. Tejinder Kaur from Punjab, India, Dr. Ayatin Abdel Fattah from Egypt, Dr. Swaraj Raj from Dr. Desmond Onimechi from Nigeria, Dr. Someshwar Sati from New Delhi, India, Dr. Navleen Multani from Punjab, India, Dr. Sushminder Jeet Kaur from Ludhiana, India, Dr. Ajay Verma from Bathinda, India. The Postgraduate Department of English of Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College was established in 1968. Ever since its inception, the department has been working passionately for teaching English as an international language to the students belonging to the rural area. The department offers BA Honors School in English, MA in English, and add-on courses like Spoken English, Business English, Essentials of English Grammar, Ethnic Literature, apart from teaching English to other degree course students. I feel glad to mention that we have an active English Literary Society which organizes various English language activities and provides educational resources to the students. The department also organizes various English literature activities and provides educational resources to the students. I feel glad to mention that we have an active English Literary Society which organizes various English literature activities and provides educational resources to the students. I feel glad to mention that we have an active gathering of people who are ever eager to contribute to the field of academics and research. They would put in endless efforts to bring innovation and updation in the field of English language and literature, which is the need of the hour. These scholarly minds, both in the form of eminent resource persons and equally important participants, will make this program a great and memorable event. Their collaborative and interactive sessions will create a positive and conducive environment for learning and updating ourselves. It is indeed a pleasure for me to announce on behalf of my college that we are so very thankful to all of you for giving such an overwhelming response to this 7 day FTP. I feel intensely enthusiastic to bring to your knowledge that we have been able to bring together participants on this platform from more than 55 universities from India, South America, Malaysia, Algeria, Philippines, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Egypt, Canada, and Nigeria, making this program truly international in spirit. I would like to take a moment to personally welcome and thank our chief guest, Professor Charu Mehrotra, Principal, Gokul Das Hindu Girls PG College from Bareilly, our guest of honor, Dr. Zuraina Ali, Associate Professor of English, Department of English Center for Modern Languages, University Malaysia, Pahang, for accepting the invitation to grace this occasion. I am really indebted to all the eminent academicians playing the role here of resource persons in the 12 technical sessions and more than 500 participants who have joined this faculty development program today to share their knowledge and interpretations regarding various topics concerned to their respective fields and increase our mental horizons. My deep appreciations are due to our team leader and ever energetic and inspiring personality, Dr. Jasveer Singh, Principal, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, Shri Anandpur Sahib, for supporting the efforts of our department for organizing this program. I wish to extend my deep appreciation for every one of you for joining this 7-day International Faculty Development Program. Today, on this chilly morning in North India, I can only say that the pandemic days have definitely taken a lot from us, but it has left behind this virtual platform. I must admit, academicians gathered here on this platform, you are all active contributors in this field, and I am sure that your knowledge, experience, and expertise will provide important insights. I ensure you all that after attending this program, you will walk away with practical as well as profitable information. So, with this brief note of welcome, may I now request our worthy principal, Dr. Jasveer Singh, to formally welcome our guests and enlighten us with his valuable words. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Gurpreet. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all on the occasion of International Virtual Faculty Development Program, which is being organized by PG Department of English on the topic of contemporary trends in English language and literature. I would like to thank all the dignitaries and the participants for joining this program. I heartily welcome Dr. Charu Malhotra, Principal Gokul Das Hindu Girls PG College, Muradabad, and Dr. Zuraina Ali, Associate Professor, Department of English, Center of Modern Languages, University of Malaysia. I am also grateful to them for having accepted our invitation to grace this event with their presence. Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, Sahib, is one of the leading educational institutions affiliated to Punjabi University, Patiala. It was established in July 1968 and it is named after ninth Sikh Guru, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Our approach is student-centered and goes beyond textbooks and classroom. Special emphasis is laid on sport, co-curricular activities, and social service. This college offers post-graduation in 3 languages mainly used in the state, besides post-graduation in commerce, maths, and basic sciences. The college is managed by Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, Shri Amritsar Sahib. The college has its own community radio station available at 90.8 megahertz. Programs of educational and religious interests are aired through it. The college has autonomous status since the session 2019-20. Autonomous status provides us with greater flexibility towards academic development and more opportunities for the upliftment of academic standards and excellence. This autonomy is actually the result of our consistent past efforts and has come in the wake of an A grade in NAC re-accreditation. College with the potential for excellence status and star status of DBT, Government of India. The college has another prestigious scheme of its credit, DST FIST. Recently, Baba Atomic Research Center has initiated a national project for determining seismic activities of the area. For this, a solar-powered radon geostation has been developed and Our college keeps organizing conferences, seminars, workshops, and FDPs for the faculty and the students to increase their knowledge and associate them with various aspects of life, language, and literature. Once again, I welcome you all to this great event, and I wish you all enlightening and inspiring sessions ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I also welcome Dr. Savraj Raj, who is here with us for this inaugural session. A very warm welcome to you, sir. So now, starting with the proceedings of the program, I'll start with the introduction of our Chief Resource Person, Dr. Charu Mehrotra. She is an eminent personality who is working as Principal Gokul Das Hindu Girls PG College, Moradabad, UP. She is also coordinator of pre-PhD coursework English MIP Rohilkhand University, Bareilly. Uh, she has her specialization is fiction theories, contemporary Indian writing in English. Her 15 scholars have been awarded PhD under her guidance. She has been conferred with various awards, among them Shikshak Shri Award by UP government in 2010, Kulbhushan Dalori Award by Jan Parishad MP government, Best Teacher Award Bareilly College, Bareilly in 2014, Nari Today Award 2017 and 2018, Best Paper Presentation Award Thailand 2018, Education Award International Conference Austria 2019, Best Paper Presentation Award Malaysia again in 2019. She has chaired the sessions in the international conferences Cambodia in 2019. Uh, she has more than 40 research papers and has 20 books to her credit. Besides, she has also edited 3 books. She is also acting as a paper setter in MJP Rohilkhand University, Bareilly, Agra, University, Meerut University, Kanpur University, Kashi Vidyapith, and many other universities. And she is also giving her services as expert in UP Public Service Commission, Allahabad, MP Public Service Commission, Indore, UP Higher Education, Allahabad, UK PSC, Hardwar, UP Intermediate Selection Board, Allahabad, CBSE, Allahabad. So once again, on the behalf of the college, I welcome Dr. Charu Mehrotra in this FDP, inaugural session of FDP. The topic of her inaugural address is 21st Century, a bountiful decade for harvest of new trends in English fiction. Once again, I welcome Dr. Charu Mehrotra, and I'll request all the participants to keep their phones on mute mode so that there should not be any kind of disturbance during her lecture. Over to you, Dr. Mehrotra. Thank you so much.
Is my voice clear? I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's clear.
Thank you very much. First of all, it's really a pleasure and a lots of congratulations to Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, Shri Anandpur Sahib, Punjab, for organizing such a FDP for the students to get benefited as well as teachers to get benefited out of it. The topic here is contemporary trends in English language and literature. For organizing this FDP, I give my hearty thanks and congratulations to Dr. Jasveer Singh, the principal of the college, and Dr. Gurpreet Kaur, HOD of English, for organizing this faculty development program. As I've also been given an opportunity to give a lecture and to be a participant in this FDP, I really feel thankful and really feel obliged for that. The topic of my lecture will be 21st Century, a bountiful decade for the harvest of new trends in English fiction. And in this topic, I'll especially give a special reference to Indian writing in English, especially in fiction. To begin with, I would like to tell you that my focus of my lecture will be the postmodern literature, which refers the works of literature after 1980s. And Before beginning with this lecture, I would like to recite a few lines from a great Victorian poet Tennyson, that knowledge is an arc wherethrough gleams the untroubled world. Its margin fades farther and farther as we move. And it's true with the literature also, because the field is very wide, the time is very short, and I would like to touch almost all the important aspects here. And I hope that my lecture will give you some benefit and will be able to enhance your knowledge. As we all know, that literature, especially English literature,
Excuse me, ma'am, you are muted. Please unmute yourself.
okay, automatically I think it happened. uh, the thing is that, as we all know, that literature, it contains themes ranging from the rich Indian culture, social tradition, traditional values, and the themes are multifarious. It deals with multifarious issues, and that is why the range is very wide. So, to begin with 21st century, as we all know, that this century has proved to the world that English literature is no longer the sole province of the imperial England only. It has sown the seeds of creativity in English in other parts of the world also. When the English colonizers went to America, they began to write their own literature of the America. With colonization in some parts of the world, especially Africa and Asia, there emerges a new literature in English, which is later on known as post-colonial literature, Commonwealth literature, new literature, and so on. Even countries which were not colonized by English, like Bhutan, China, Japan, Iran, Thailand, Nepal, they started their own literature in English. And the pinnacle of such a literature, we say that is Salman Rushdie, Midnight Children in 1981, which won the status of the double Booker Prize, a novel, and which was written by an Indian author or a writer of Indian origin, you can say. At times, English literature, especially Indian English literature, has given birth to controversies. Now, the question was there, that does it mean the literature written by Indians only? Then, after a lot of controversies, opinions from the different writers, we come to that the work originally written in English by Indians who are born in India, they could be staying in country or outside the country, their work will be considered as Indian English literature. Now we come to the trends. What were the trends that were prevalent at that time? A few distinct trends we'll discuss. They were dominant in the late 20th century and in the early 21st century. And the major trend is the original creative writing in English. And in India, at that time, there was a trio of Raja Ram Mohan Rai, R. K. Narayan, and Mulk Raj Anand in the middle of the 20th century. We have multitudes of writers, both men and women, from different walks of life, and they were writing on various themes. At that time, our country, it was going through the economic and social development, and this was at the priority for political leaders like Gandhi, Nehru, and others. Then psychological and social consequences of development becomes important for R.K. Narayan, Kamla Markande, and their works like The Painter of Science, A Handful of Rice. They deal with a less complicated and largely with the rural life in a leisurely fashion. If we see all the writers of the pre-independent era, they dealt with nationalism or patriotism. The post-independent writers faced challenges of handling the newfound powerful freedom. That is the political freedom which they got. And writers like Salman Rushdie, Arundhati Roy, Amitabh Ghosh, Shashi Tharoor, Shashi Deshpande, Manju Kapoor, Arvind Adiga, Chetan Bhagat, and so on. All of them, they were just writing about the change which has come in their world. Rushdie and Ghosh, they had to dwell deep into the impact of freedom on Indians, and their works was studying the psychological impact which was falling on them. And even if we see that Ghosh, The Hungry Tide, shows that even freedom has not liberated tribal people from the local oppressions. Manju Kapoor's A Married Woman in the same way articulated a different freedom within family. Another kind of environmental and social freedom struggle continues in our country, and even today, as represented by a number of writers like Arundhati Roy, Chetan Bhagat. They have large following among youths. Then we come to another trend which has been very, very common at that time is translation of regional literature into English. The very, very burning and the recent example is of The Tomb of Sand, a novel which won a Booker Prize of 2022. It was originally written by Gitanjali Sri, an Indian, and which has been translated. This book has been translated by Daisy Rockwell in English. And you know that after this translation, it became so popular that it got a Booker Prize. So translations, they too became a very, very important feature of the present time. And the literature which has been written in their original or in some other language, in regional language, or in the language of other countries, they had been translated into English or in other common languages so that people in a large number, they were able to read the treasure which was hidden in that particular work. Now the thing is that these people, as they were busy in translating, we can see that this trend is not only reserved to 21st century. This trend, you will find that it has started right from the 14th and 15th century. And in England, it was in 16th century when the translations were done by Chapman and by Wycherley and by other people of the great works of the Greek writers, Homer especially, and even the translation of Bible from Latin and Hebrew to English. So right from there, translation work is going on, and it is the entire work. If we take an example, and if we just ask or we just examine the work of our Indian writers like Premchand, Rabindranath Tagore, we know that originally Gitanjali was written in Bengali. And if it has not been translated into English, then for Tagore it was difficult to get Nobel Prize. In 1913, he got Nobel Prize for Gitanjali. That was his English version. So Rabindranath Tagore, Vijay Tendulkar, you can say he's a Marathi writer, Subramaniam Bharati, etc. They are now available in English also. So the work of translation at present, it is really in it is really in a fashion or in a vogue. And a case in point, if you can take the work of Mahashweta Devi, she's from West Bengal. She is an artist, she is an activist, writer who has championed the cause of the marginalized tribal people in her work, Draupadi, then plays of Grish Kannad, pointing social problems, Indian myths, and history. So, in this way, the work around the world is available for you by translation. Then another trend, which has been popular, it was Dalit literature and marginalized literature. If we take Bama's Karukuku, Ompuri Valmiki's Jhutan, and it has erased the distinction between fact and fiction. Some autobiographical works of these writers, they are eye openers, we can say. Shocking plays by Mahesh Dattani, Manjula Padmanabham belong to different strength of margin away from mainstream, and that is they had picked up the problems of third gender also. And there are a lot of writers who had raised a question that marginalization among marginalized. So in this way, you will find that a large uh, people or large number of writers, they are very much influenced by the works of these writers. And if we go through Dalit literature, we can say that this literature is confined to India only. And in abroad, this type of literature is not found. But in India, we have caste system, which uh, got place in this literature. And in abroad, there is racial problems. That how still even today, black people, there's a difference between black people and white people. There is there are difference there are differences between you can say people belonging to one region and another. In this way, the novels belonging in this category, they come in the category of marginalization. Now marginalization does not restrict only to the people belonging to different races or racial problems. But marginalized literature deals with scheduled caste people, deals with women, deals with those people who are suffering, who are not in the mainstream of society. And these people, they are sufferers, and they may be the workers. Now, Mahesh Dattani has picked up uh, the life of Hijraz, the third gender, in his place and had raised a question there. Now, marginalized, among marginalized, again, there is a trend. If we go through the work of Mahesh Dattani's Tara, you will find that how, though she is a daughter of a judge, a very, very very rich people who had great potential in the society, still the outlook is different. They have a discrimination in their mind regarding boy and girl. And the result is, if you go through the play, you will find that how Tara suffered a lot without uh, her can I say mistake. But the question here arises is that is still it's a patriarchal society. Even the high class people, they are following the same trend. Is the voice of woman is it still oppressed? And these questions, they had been raised many times in the novels in the works of people. And the another trend which has been very, very important is that motivational and autobiographical works of prominent personalities. So it has become the fashion that every great person he writes. We cannot ignore this fact that even Gandhi wrote his autobiography, My Experiments with Truth. But the purpose of writing that autobiography was different, where he was just, he has picked up those facts of his life which can give lesson to others. In the same way, if we go through the autobiography, that is the Daughter of the East, it is the autobiography of Benazir Bhutto. If we go through the autobiography of Dr. Abdul Kalam, that is the Wings of Fire, Turning Points, have a side to guide our youths that how they could make their life better and how can they be useful for their country also. In this trend, it has become very popular. This trend of writing autobiography has become very, very popular among politicians, among industrialists, among social workers, and even sports people, spiritual leaders, media leaders, and big people like J.R.D. Tata, Dhirubhai Ambani, Aditya Birla. Their biographies, they are there. They tell about their struggles. Then there are the autobiographies of players also. So in this way, sometimes now Prince Harry is also, he has written his personal experiences and how he has blamed his elder brother there and the controversy is there. Now sometimes it appears that writing autobiography, people they adopt only to make themselves popular or to create a sensation, to create a kind of center of, they just wanted to attract people towards themselves, toward themselves by uh, putting some sensational news or incident in it. So recently, a lot of discussion is going on in this news when Prince Harry has uh, uh, commented about his struggle and assault by his brother. Now, my opinion, though it doesn't work much, but still I think that autobiography needs a lot of balance, a lot of, you can say, understanding, and lot of vision uh, and farsightedness. Because whatever you write, it becomes a record. You cannot call it back. You cannot say, no, 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 this whatever I've written, now I do not agree with it. And this is the problem, which even Gandhi has said that to write an autobiography, to make a record of your feeling, it is really, really very, very difficult. Because once you write it, it means that there will be people who are going through your book. They must be following it, and we do not know which kind of inspiration these things can leave on the youths or on readers. So a person should be very, very careful. But at present, it has become a fashion and only to create a sensation, to be in the talk, to be in the topic. It has, they take it very lightly. So then we come to the diasporic writings, the another trend which has been very, very prevalent at present, that is diasporic writing. And diaspora, as we all know, that those people who had left their country and they had been now settled somewhere else, but still they feel their roots in their own country. Now, Bharti Mukherjee, you can say Chitra Devkarni, you can say Jhampa Lahiri, and Kiran Desai. And there are R.K. Vishwas. There are several people who have different windows on the world of their lives, and in India, or you can say in abroad. So these people, if we go through their works, we'll find that they are seeking, they are searching their identity. The theme comes to the same thing, to the same point, that they are searching their identity. They feel themselves uprooted because they are neither accepted where they reside, and they neither be the part of their own country. So for their country, they are strangers, and still the place where they are residing, they are strangers. So they are just uh, above, you can say, the surface, and they are finding their roots, their identity, and they are struggling. The very uh, uh, the very good example you can find in the works of these writers. That is, even Taslima Nasreen's Lajja gives the detail, or gives the you can say data of it, that people who are living in abroad and their generations, they have been staying there, they can still, whenever there is a riot, they are considered strangers, and they are always pointed out, and they become the victim of that riot. So every time the question arises, when we will be considered as the citizen or as the countryman of that country. Every time they are pointed, why they are pointed out as strangers, though their forefathers, they had settled there. Whatever had been the reasons, but they every time they face this in their life. So same is the condition of these people, diasporic people, everywhere in the world, that they are searching for their identity. Now, they share the common concerns in the terms of cultural bondings and bindings. So yesterday we were having a Pravasi Divas. And Pravasi Divas means the people who are living abroad, but they are of Indian origin. We people in India, if we see that any person in the world, in any corner of the world, if he is of Indian or his forefathers, they are of Indian origin, so we feel happy. That's Kamala Harris. As she became the vice president of uh, America, so we were very happy because that woman is from Indian origin, though she has never been to India, and she has not come to India or visited India. But because her forefathers, they belong to India, so we had that feeling, a kind of connection we feel with that. In the same way, many people. Sunuk, if you will take the uh, president of America, he is from Indian origin. So we feel that one of the Indian is there ruling there. But these people, Pravasi Divas, maybe think that these people who are living abroad, they are carrying our culture, they are spreading our Indian culture there, and we feel a kind of bonding with them. And we feel that if they had not been there, so people they would not have been knowing about Indian culture or Indian ceremonies. So these are the people who are introducing Indian culture in abroad. And it is true, the people who are living abroad, they are more uh, strongly bonded with the culture than the people living in the country. So I think that is this way they feel as if they are related or they are bonded with their country, and as they are far away from their country, but still that cultural and religious bonding is with them, and they are just preserving that culture in abroad too. Now, Kiran Desai's, if you take Jhampa Lahiri's, the interpreters of melodies, it has smacks of disease, Kiran Desai's, the inheritance of loss, and it is a poignant story of the lady of an Indian unable to live here or there or anywhere. For social and political forces are always against him. Then we find that though there are a lot of trends which has been prevalent at that time, uh, and this is popular novels if we go through, and that is the first decade of 21st century. It saw a revolution of sorts in the field of popular fictions, and that revolution came in the form of Chetan Bhagat. And this genre of popular novel, it started being known or popularized by different names like metro reads or quick reads, and this type of trends they had been established now. Other divisions, if we go through, of these broad categories are chick literature, led literature, tech literature, campus literature, career literature, and so on. And the major themes in them are office comedies, professional life, live-in relationship, extramarital relationship, and practically anything that can be of interest of youths. So these writers, like Chetan Bhagat's 5 Point Someone, One Night at the Call Center, and Suma Hussein's A Guy Thing, Ajay Mohan Jain's Married But Available, and Sujata Nayar's Anivan Bose, Soumya Bhattacharya, and so on. These people, they had created a new trend in literature, in the field of fiction. And then, if we go through the other aspect here, so there are travelogues or adventure novels, the novels of multiculturalism, then the novels dealing with individual and relationship, and novels dealing with social and politics. There are novels like science fiction, which had been very, very popular at the time of Victorian age, or you can say after 1990s. Now, but still, they do not have that much, they are not so, you can say, deeply rooted, and they are not very, very popular, but still, some writers they write in this field. There's Jayant Narlikar, The Return of Vaman, Amitabh Ghosh, The Calcutta Chromosome, Hari Kunjan's Transmission. They are all scientific fictions which deals with one or the other story. And sometimes in these scientific fictions, medical fictions, they too are uh, combined, and how a generation is facing new type of vaccines, and how uh, instead of war, instead of weapons, now the countries they are using chemicals, and these things are the subject matter of these fictions. Now there are still some people who go on writing in a traditional manner, so they had a old style. And this old style deals with mysteries like Raj Kamal Jha, Fireproof. Then there are supernatural and mythological fictions like Prince of Ayodhya, Armies of Hanuman, Bridge of Ram, and Chaturvedi. Amish Tripathi is the one who has started these mythological fictions, and still and giving a new kind of interpretation which fits according to the modern type, and according to the modern concept of youth. Otherwise this trend would have not been enjoyed or relished by the people in the modern times, where reasoning and rationalism is uh, prime. And that is why we now come to another type of trends which is popular here, and that trend is the dystopia fiction. Dystopia, the term means bad place, and it is applied to the work of fiction, including science fiction, that present a very unpleasant imaginary world in which ominous powers they are superior, and there is just they are showing disaster, how the future is going to be destroyed, how they are able to destroy the whole world. है ना? And in this way, these ominous tendencies they are shown, and that is why this word you can take, it is opposite to utopia. Utopia means a good place, and dystopia means bad place. And their characters somehow reach this place, and how the impact of it is there is there. So examples of dystopia novels, you can find it in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, George Orwell's 1984, Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and so on. Then you will find the another trend of fiction, that is the detective novels. And this genre of novel, it is found in short stories also, in which the mystery is solved mainly by the action of some professional detective or some amateur detective. And basically it deals with crime. So it creates a lot of interest. This trend, uh, it is liked by those people who have interested uh, in some findings, or in these work of detectives. Now, as far as these fictions are concerned, the prime theme is investigation. It deals with their skill, their knowledge, and how that person is able or skillful than others, how he is able to solve mystery. And these detective novels, they are not uh, considered as a very healthy trend of literature, but these they are taken as some inferior kind of work. If we go through these, you will find that uh, this work has been done by great masters, and they are Arthur Conan Doyle. Arthur Conan Doyle has created an imaginative detective, Sherlock Holmes, and he wrote a series of novels uh, on it. And the story of crime and detective detection, they are narrated in that. And they try his best. He tried his best to make the end very uh, uh, surprising and unexpected. So another clue is Anna Radcliffe, her Gothic romances, The Mystery of Udolpho, and the Victorian novel Wilkie Collins, The Moonstone. They are written in this trend. And then the latest is James Bond. Ian Fleming, he created a character, James Bond, who has become a very, very popular character in the modern times. And a series of films were made on it. Then we come to the campus fiction. Campus fiction, another name of it can be an academic novel. These novels, in these novels, the action is set in around the campus of a university or a college. And if we go back, we'll find the novel The Grove of Academy by Mary McCarthy is considered as the earliest example of this genre. Now, this novel, campus novel, is either comical or satirical. The action is limited to the world of a big university or a college. Its chief aim is to highlight the follies and shortcomings of academic life. And there is a mix, you can say, reaction and the questions of their commercial success. Meaning it is people not in a large number, they are writing in this genre. You can say, if we go through that Lucky Jim novel, and there is a novel, I Am Charlotte Simmons, C.P. Snow's The Masters of the Previous Year, and मैंने आपको लकी जिम तो बताया किंग्सले का. So these people, they had written in this trend. Chetan Bhagat's novel, The 5 Point Someone, on which Three Idiots movie was made. It's a lime example of campus literature. Abhijit Bhaduri's Medicore but arrogant. Neeraj Phalgani's Joker in the pack. Amitabh Bakchi's Above Average. They are few campus novels which had been popular among the youths. And as I had told you, the science fiction already, and we come to another space fiction, as it is also a fiction in the uh, it deals with science aspect, and that is why its readers, they are classed, because a person who enjoys this novel, these type of novels, he must have the scientific bent of mind or knowledge, so that he may be able to understand the reactions or the things or the results which the writer is going through in that novel. Now, it is a result of man's growing interest in science and discoveries and inventions. You can see that how Avatar, uh, the recent series of it has come, and how uh, they have presented that water, life, and how the nature is to be preserved, and how we should be friendly with it. Otherwise, we have to face the consequences of it. Now, these space fiction, they had become popular only in the modern age with the space age culture. And the thing is, the most important aspect of space fiction is that they are based chiefly on stories, not on characters. And the aliens are there, and we had a space film like Star Wars. They deal with strange lands of imagination, how accidentally the spacecraft missed its path, and slings are broken, and they are in a strange land, and how they find that the different things are there. These type of fictions, they explore our relations with universe, or they deal with the large cosmos which we feel around us. And then we come to the chick literature. Chick, this is an American slang for young women, and lit is a short form of literature. The chick lit, if we say that chick lit fictions, the term, it appeared in print around about 1988, like a college slangs. And there was a course entitled Female Literary Tradition. So this genre of literature, it comes out of it, in which the issues of modern womanhood, they are treated, they are dealt, and many times in a very, very humorous manner, or in a light-hearted manner. This genre, it became popular in 1990s, when we found that the works written by the writers, they are coming in the bestseller lists. It deals with romantic elements also, but it is not considered as a romantic novel. It does not come in a romantic category of novel. These novels, the plots, they are usually written on a woman. It moves around the woman whose experiences, they are shared in her. That how a single woman, she is fighting with the society, or how she is struggling, and how she has stood up. So you can find that this very, very chick element in our serials also, which are dealing with the chief, in which the female are the chief protagonist. So chick literature, they too, they were popular. And afterwards, Carl Bradshaw, he has written Sex and the City. And in this novel, he has presented that how the character, or that woman, struggled in a city, and how all alone she has made her identity and overcome all the hurdles. Then we come, if you can see that in America, these type of fiction, they are very popular. And in English, Helen Fielding's Bridget Jones' Diary, Carrie Bradshaw's Sex and the City, and Melissa Bank, The Girl's Guide to Hunting and Fishing, they are considered as a very, very popular work of chick literature. Now we come to junk fiction. Now, junk fiction, they are the different types of fiction which we read. That is canonical fiction. It deals with uh, the of the past and that fiction which is still in existence. So, junk fiction, it is also called the fiction that is called a paperback fiction, vernacular fiction. So this junk fiction is like plain fiction in that its reader don't study, but it is like a serious fiction in that it required its own learnedness. The meaning is that in junk fiction, it as its name is appears are less refined taste and it is easy to consume, and the writers of these fictions they have a vocabulary that hovers about fifth grade level and will never win any literary awards. So in this way, these junk literature, they have not left any kind of mark, and they are considered uh, with the time or with the society which we have, our generation had lived back. It is like a, it is tied up, you can say, more closely to the newspaper's reality than other literary forms. And in this way, that we have come to this point that there are a lot of trends which had been prevalent at present in the in 21st century, and more we hope is that in future too this work or this genre will take new forms and new trends in literature. And the thing is, you see that as far as this English literature, this fiction is concerned, it has, you can say that our new generation is going to work in it, on it, and in future it will be more rich than it is at present. And I hope that summing up is that I have gone through all the different trends of literature and fiction at present, and these trends, they deal with one or the other aspect, and all these trends, they had some differences, but in common, if we come to that, literature mirrors society, and that is what these all trends do. And they had presented those aspects of our society which earlier people they had not uh, presented, or because of the industrialization, because of modernization, and because we are progressing day by day on, and because of the progress of science, because of the progress of, you can say, our mental level, we can say, that different type of problems which has not been presented by the earlier generations, but it has not escaped from the eyes of these writers of 21st century, and they had presented in a very nice manner in their works so that people may know about them, and government too may know about it and should take steps in order to eradicate these uh, problems. So, as the time is up, I think I had been given 1 hour time and I've taken 5 minutes more. But I would like to say one thing regarding this work, and especially for literature, that great literature is simply language charged with meaning to the utmost possible degree. And that is, if the work is meaningful, if it is charged with meaning, only then it will have an effect on the mind of everyone. It will have an effect it will influence the large number of people. With this, I again give thanks to Dr. Gurpreet and the whole uh, group or the committee for giving me an opportunity for this lecture.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this insightful session. Uh, now the house is open for discussion. If any participant has any query or want to give any viewpoint regarding the session, they can ask the ma'am here. And if there is any question, kindly there is an option of raise hand in Google Meet. If there is any query, kindly put your hand on. So we'll start with the queries.
So the
Mr.
lecture needs some of the aspects like historical novel and I think Picaris novel, Gothic novel, and epistolaries. But it is a very large, you can say, field to
We
discuss.
need at least 2 3 hours for that.
That is what I've just tried my best to sum it up and touched it. It
But
needs a lot of.
even
Yeah.
in this 1 hour, you have given a
I
deep.
tried my best, but these aspects they had been left, and I hope that some other time we'll discuss over it.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely, definitely.
Sure.
So, Mr. R. Samanak wants to ask something.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Really happy, madam, because I am in Andhra Pradesh, Anantapur district, Mandalam, Ashima University, Kurnool, madam. MA English in Kurnool, 2011 to 13 academic year, madam. I really happy, madam. But you introducing some Bengali literatures along with Sikh literature, campus literature, I learned, madam. And Salman Rushdie said in the year of, look like those competitive point of also covered, madam. Thank you, madam. Now the Indian literature point of view not covered, madam, but those authors and literatures. So some R.K. Narayana said, some Bengali writer Rabindranath Tagore, APJ Abdul Kalam, look like those be covered. I really happy, madam. But the Victorian literature, there is some point about the covered, madam. That is the cause, madam.
I just wanted to tell you that I've covered. In the very beginning of my lecture, I told you that I will deal with the literature that is after 1980. Because
Yes,
if I'll start going through Victorian era, because science fiction, and these fictions which have been the type of social fictions, and
yes.
these fictions they had been detective novels. They are from originally they are from Victorian era only. And as I told you that I have restricted my area
Yes, madam.
because it will be very difficult to cover the whole thing right from Boccaccio. If we'll start, we'll write from Boccaccio, 14th century. We have to
Yes.
cover it. So it is very difficult to cover it in 1 hour in this small part. That is why I have restricted my area, 1980 onwards.
Yes, madam. But in CBSE syllabus or NCET or AP state syllabus, in the literature point of view, there is no importance, madam. That is the main cause. Why, madam?
What is not important?
In the CBSE state syllabus of English, along with the AP state syllabus, if any state syllabus, there is no importance of English, madam. Further competitive point of view, or if any entrance exam point of view, or
It depends on the. It depends
there is no
on the
impact,
people.
madam.
See, the thing is,
So
it
all are
depends on the
selected.
people who are are making the syllabus. It is up to them now how they are making the syllabus. So I cannot intervene in it. Why
Yes.
English is not important there.
Now the competitive exams are other if any entrance exams. There is no
Mr. R. Samana, we have
format field.
other questions also. Other people are also waiting.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we'll
1 minute.
we'll stop here, and I'll ask Professor Navdeep Singh.
Yes, sir.
He also want to ask some question. So it is over to you, Professor Navdeep Singh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, my question is in Chick literature
Ji.
that even Google says, and even you have interpreted, it started in the 1990s.
Okay.
But can't we define D.H. Lawrence, Lady Chatterley's lover in this genre in Chick literature?
Hey, that deals with the psychology. I've left that aspect. मैंने कहा ना कुछ aspect रह गए हैं. Like psychological novels. It of a woman, है ना? The wisdom, the sex and the biological needs. So it is. It cannot be in Chick literature.
Still, the very theme that romantic relationship.
Some aspect of it you can take, but otherwise you cannot put it as in a Chick literature.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
There is another question by Basharat Fauquer. If he's there, he can ask his question.
Hello, sir.
Ji.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My question to ma'am is, how far is Indian literature going parallel to world literature?
The
But
very
so far-
example
so
I have given you.
So far as fictional literature is concerned.
One thing, sir, I have given you an example of the recent Booker Prize winner.
Yeah,
That
ma'am.
is the top English Booker Prize. That is translation by Daisy Rockwell.
Yes, ma'am.
So people, they are writing, right? And they are getting Arundhati Roy is
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
Salman Rushdie is there, and Mr. Bishwash is there. Oh, I'm unable to just. There are several writers. Vikram Seth is there.
Mhm.
So there are several people who are writing, and their writings is appreciated not only in India but in the world.
Yeah, that's there. That's
And they are, and Amish Tripathi, he's recently mixing science, modern and rationalism and mythology.
yes.
He's writing sequels, and you will find that he's written a sequel on Lord Shiva. Now he's writing a sequel on Ramayana. And this
But
way they
ma'am,
are just. Pardon.
yes. But ma'am, it's confusing here. So far as the Western writers are concerned, so far as the Western ideology is concerned, as per that very ideology, the literature that is written in Asian and African countries belongs to third world literature. Don't we think that this third world as a term is a derogatory mark against this literature?
Now these terms, they had become old.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that when we were, the thing is, it all depends, it's the mindset. And they had given this category. In my opinion, we are progressing country. We are progressing country. We are not progressed.
Yeah,
so we are
that's the
not,
point.
we are developing countries and we are not developed. If
It
you are
means difference
developed,
is there.
one thing. Let me speak you first. If you are developed, okay,
Yeah.
then there is no progress. You are developed, okay, full stop is there. And we are developing. We are step by step going forward. And you see that today, where we are standing and where they are standing.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes the work is there, but it is meaningless. It is only sensational work. Only for sensation, as I told you, for autobiographies. The recent Prince Henry's comment.
Yes,
so what is it?
That's the point.
If our writers, they had not given their introduction. Like Surdas, Tulsidas, you don't find their introduction because they think it very low thing that to give introduction of yours. let their works. So you see that people in England, we know Shakespeare. His name is William Shakespeare. Just like my name is Mehrotra. So now many Mehrotra, kaun Mehrotra? ऐसे पूछते हैं. Now if you say Shakespeare, you know that he is William Shakespeare only in the world. If we are talking about.
Yes.
If we say Wordsworth, if we know William Wordsworth is there, only this man.
It
So the thing is,
simply means that Western
right.
ideology has different, surely the effect on our mentality, on Indian mentality, on Asian mentality,
Okay,
and it's evaluating us.
They had ruled over us.
Yes.
So, we can say the wisdom tooth of Gandhi, it came only after he has been thrown out from the train.
Yes.
Sure. He would not have been, maybe, agar that episode has not happened in his life, he may not have been such a great man.
Exactly.
He was living a comfortable life.
Yeah.
There are some turning points in the life. Okay. Yes. And the thing is, mentality you can't change.
Exactly.
You can't change mentality. And that is the thing, that how you are looking and how they are looking. So previously, formally, we don't have that confidence in us. Now we have confidence in us. We are ruling America.
Yeah, that's the point.
And that is the thing,
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you,
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We'll take no more questions as the time is almost there.
But it was interesting that people,
it was really interesting.
Audience, they are taking interest and they are asking question, means that they had listened carefully and they had listened with great interest.
As Basharat sir was saying, there is a difference in the mentality. It is not only just the differences in the mentality of West or East, the difference is in individuals' mentality also. So no two people think same. So, or in the same manner.
But here, if the country is concerned, so it means the group. How we people of India thinks about West. It comes in a group.
In the modern times, the developed nations have the multiverse cinematic universe, MCU as we could say, and the DC world. They have created a new kind of literature through their movies. The comics they have made.
You can see that.
The new genre of literature they are creating. So we are in the developing stage, and they have already developed. So that difference will remain there. Sooner or later, maybe it will perish. But
I wish that we Indians, however developed we may be, but we should not leave our emotions. We should not leave our culture. We should not leave our feelings for our elders and respect for our elders.
That essence is very important.
That is very important.
You cannot done without it. You cannot do that. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for this insightful session. And
it's my pleasure.
It was also very good. And our next speaker, Ali Zurana, is already here. I'll request all the participants to kindly mute their profiles as they disturb the proceedings of the process. So our next speaker, Dr. Ali Zurana, is there.
Yeah.
I welcome her.
Yes.
We'll start. So it is 12:15. So her session was to start at 12:15. We are already 3 minutes late. We are taking her time away. We are really sorry for that, ma'am. And I'll start with the introduction of our resource person, Dr. Zuraina Ali. She is a senior English lecturer at the Center for Modern Languages in University Malaysia Pahang, which is called as UMP. She has co-authored several English textbooks that are used in the university. She has also contributed to writing academic papers on vocabulary learning and technology in the tertiary level of second language learning. Her research interests include technology-related issues in language teaching, ESL, EFL education, especially with beginners in an e-learning environment, and new web-based learning environments to support learning and vocabulary learning among language learners. A trainer of English courses for adult and research methodology in and outside the university, she conducted language and research course training. We welcome you, ma'am, in this session. She will ponder over the topic changing trends in English language. It is very important topic because the changes which are occurring are very fast, and they are having their impact on the overall population of the globe. So without much ado, I'll request Dr. Ali Zurena to start with her lecture. Once again, a very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now, mic is over to you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Prof. Okay, so for introduction, yeah. So, okay, now, this is the second time, if I'm not mistaken, whereby I participated in the conferences. I mean, the webinars, yeah, that was organized by the college. Okay, so it's a great pleasure to to be here today. But Prof, I would like to, the title of the presentation is actually Promoting Critical Thinking Through Literature. Okay, so just now, Prof. Mehrotra, okay, talk about Indian literature. Okay, talk about matters related to 21st century literature. Okay, so as you see that I am working in a technical university. Okay, whereby these universities, they are producing engineers. Okay, so you can just imagine teaching literature to these to be engineers. So they can't really understand abstract things. I mean, they know like 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Okay, but we arts teachers, I mean, we arts instructors, 1 + 1 can be is abstract to us. We can define in many ways. Okay, what 1 + 1 is right. So when you are teaching, just an introduction of teaching literature in this university is, yeah. So when you're teaching literature, you need to be in such a way that you need to be because they are the person who are always with computers. Okay, they know coding, they know all these websites, they know how to develop websites, and also etc. Okay, and of course they know to use. You just imagine they know they know everything in regards to using applications or software. When I come to the class, they know better than me when it comes to technology, and then the fact that teaching this teaching the students are very very challenging, because you need to be in such a way that you need to keep yourself updated, yeah, with the knowledge that they have, and then you need to combine the knowledge in the content in that literature with the knowledge that they have, yeah. So it is kind of challenging, but at the same time it is enjoyable. Okay, so for this particular session, so I'm going to share with you what I did in my literature class, but it is not, it is not like a standalone kind of thing. But in our university, we combine it with critical thinking class. Yeah. So I'm going to share with you, and perhaps you can also share with me. Perhaps you are not. Perhaps maybe you are teaching not literature students. Yeah. Maybe you're teaching, I don't know, maybe economic students, okay, teaching literature to them. So, so these students, they did not have exposure. I mean, they don't know about, contemporary literature. For instance, we can say, I can just name one. Okay, let's say, Roald Dahl, for instance. They don't know who this person is. So Roald Dahl is to us is a basic knowledge, this name, but they don't know. So you just imagine that, the struggle that I need to, that I need to take care of, that I need to take care of when I am teaching these students. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So, right. So, okay, what I'm going to share with you, of course, I have slides, yeah. So it's just a matter of putting my way that what lecturing is about, yeah. And of course, I will share my experience to you. Okay, let's take a look at. Okay, just let me share the slide first. Okay. Okay, now. All right. Okay. So can you see, sorry, can you see the slide now?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright.
It's visible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's visible, right? So as I told you, the topic that I'm going to present concern with how I teach students critical thinking, but I use literature to teach them. Okay, so that is the thing that I'm going to discuss today or this session. Yeah. Now, just a quick thing, okay, and I know that because we are all literature, we know literature, okay, but these are some of the things when it comes to me, presenting, presenting the topic. I do not want you to answer true or false. It's just that these are some of the things that I'm going to cover in my lecture or in my talk today. Yeah. So first, I'm not so much talking about, just a little bit about contemporary literature. Okay, first question is that I know that you know the answer, but at least, okay, you know that my way forward of discussing the things that I'll be discussing. Okay, so question one, concern with contemporary literature, refers to literature written after World War II until today. So if you were to ask, okay, engineering students, they definitely don't know whether it's true or false, and they will just have wild guess. Okay, so this is the first thing. Okay, question two is that critical thinking is the ability to understand and present an issue to form a judgment. So this is a combination of what critical thinking is about. Yeah. Now let's take a look at question number three. So question number three relates to critical thinking is making an intelligent decision about what to believe. Okay, so basically, again, something on critical thinking. And here we have question four, whereby we can say that a person who demonstrates critical thinking concludes after judging the sources he or she has. So at this point of time, okay, ask yourself whether it's a true or false statement. Okay, remember that literature, I relate it to, I teach literature and I use critical thinking as the core as the core principle, yeah, in my teaching or in my class. Right. For question number five, in literature class, a student continually makes intelligent decisions about the text he or she is reading. So talking about text, of course, you can't be expecting this, these engineering students, they read thick literature, okay? So in my case, it will be very, I don't know, maybe like several pages only. And most of the time, it is going to be very simple text, okay? Simple text, simple language, yeah? All right, so this is the thing that I will be covering for my lecture. Okay, now, let's move on to the next slide, yeah? Now, first of all, okay, now let's take a look at the definition of critical thinking, okay? So, so when we talk about critical thinking, yeah, so first of all, okay, because these students, yeah, these engineering students, they know logic. They always say something that is practical. They know only, they think and they feel that if that is logic and therefore the answers are correct, okay? But sometimes it is not that way when you're teaching literature. And of course, and what more when you're teaching critical thinking with a combination of literature. So coming back to the definition of critical thinking. So first of all is that, the thinking, our thinking has to be reasonable. That is the first thing. And of course, yeah, it has to be combined with reflective thinking. I mean, we think and then we reflect, okay, to the text, or we reflect to the questions that are made by the teacher, for instance, okay? So when we reflect and we give our reasonable judgment, okay, so we are actually focusing on what we believe or what we will do, okay? So this is the definition produced by Ennis. I know this is quite an obsolete definition, but I think this is the most, the easiest one, yeah, the easiest definition of critical thinking. So I'll be using this definition throughout, yeah, throughout my presentation. All right. So Now, when you are teaching critical thinking, okay, there is curriculum when you are teaching these students, okay. So you just imagine that these students, they do not want, okay, they do not, in terms of paying attention to you, okay, they don't really pay attention in such a way that you can just lecture for 15 minutes, okay, and then you need to give activity to them. They like better when the activity is not conducted in the class. They want it to be done, let's say, conducted in the field, okay. This is the kind of this is the kind of what we call students that I have. And also, not to I'm not try I don't have gender bias thinking here. It's just that, when you have, like, in a class, let's say you are teaching mechanical engineering students, okay. So let's say in a class consists of 20 students, okay, maybe 2 or 3 students are female students. So you can just imagine that teaching boys versus teaching girls, okay, so they are different. And of course, it tend to be that the girls are kind of passive when it comes to when you have the combination of number of students, okay, female versus male students, yeah, in the class, okay. Now, coming back to what the basic, when I enter my first class. So this is the thing I talk to students, okay, and I always tell them that literature is the platform that we are going to use, yeah. So it can be I will tell you the literature, the reading that the reading I assign to the student, okay. Now, for critical thinking, the first thing that student need to know is that, or we need to make student notice, is that we have to have clear statement or question. Yeah, if we give question to them, of course it has to be clear. They need to understand the question. Okay, so that is the first thing. If they don't understand the question, of course they are not able to think critically. Okay, so that is the first, the first thing that you need to do, that I mean, as teachers, yeah. And of course, you need to also be telling the students that when you are engaging in critical thinking, you are actually seeking reasons why you say such and such. Why did you not say this and that? Okay, so this is the thing when it comes to asking students why you say so, why you say as such. Okay. And then another part is that, and of course, as a teacher, you need to, you need to be well informed. I mean, sometimes when you're discussing literature, can be any literature at all, they need to understand. I mean, maybe the story, the plot. Okay, of course, the character. For this particular, let's say, you choose any literature. So, what are the character of this particular female? Okay, so they need to be well informed, and when they're able to get well informed of what the characters are, maybe the plot, then only they can think critically. Okay. Okay. Number 04 or number 4 is very essential. Okay, get credible sources. So sometimes when I teach literature, and of course I teach critical thinking, I need to be in such a position whereby they can relate whatever that is happening around them, especially in their area. Okay, I mean, of course, in the area means in their technical areas. I mean, if they're engineering, students, they relate it to machines, for instance. Yeah. Now, if there are electrical engineering students, have to do with something with electrical components or robots, etc. and etc. And if there are, let's say, I'm teaching computer sciences students, so I need this kind of students, I mean, I need to make sure that they really understand. Okay, and of course they can apply what they understand to their areas or to their fields. Okay, now get credible sources. Sometimes sometimes the literature is there. Sometimes I need to get, let's say, I need them to talk about one thing. Okay, so what I did was I need to read, newspapers, current news about what is going on in their areas. Okay, so this is what I mean by credible sources. And of course, to them, when they want to give reasons, they also have to find credible sources to give their opinions. Okay, sometimes it comes from their opinions, it comes from their own mind, but they can support it with credible sources also. Yeah. Okay. And then number 5 is that take into account the total situations. Of course, when they are promoting or when they're processing or doing this critical thinking, yeah, when the process to be critical, analytical, they must take into account the total situation of what is going on, and therefore they're able to analyze, evaluate critically. Yeah. Okay. Now, other thing is that now here, as far as curriculum in critical thinking is concerned, a person who is promoting critical thinking, okay, has to remain relevant to the main point. So you cannot, yeah, for instance, yeah, you cannot run away from the main point. What is the gist of your discussion? What is the thing that we're discussing? So this is what it means by 06, remain relevant to the main point. Yeah, right. And then apart from that is that you need to keep in mind the original basic concern. I mean, sometimes, yeah, this is 06 and 07 is interrelated. Okay, so you just cannot run away from the basic points when you are making arguments. We are talking about A, okay, A. All right, we are not talking about B, C, D, and etc. And therefore, okay, as when you're teaching critical thinking to the students, you must make students understand that this is the one that we are discussing. Okay, don't go beyond it, for instance. Yeah. All right. And number 8 is that look for alternatives. Okay, so there are when of course when you are doing or when you're observing critical thinking, yeah, you need to be looking for alternatives. Okay, because you want to give reasons. Okay, maybe you have alternative 1 or alternative A, alternative B, and etc. So you're looking for these alternatives. Why are these alternatives important? Because you want to weightage. Okay, because you want to weight. Okay, which one is much better? Is it A, is it B, or C, and etc. So these are the alternatives that you need to think. Okay, and finally, you are just going to give perhaps 1 or 2 alternatives instead of several alternatives that you have. Yeah, right. Another thing is that, okay, sometimes students are not able to do this. You need to be open-minded. Okay, now sometimes it is quite, it actually hit up the discussion, yeah, when students sometimes I mean they are because we have our own opinions, yeah, when we teach, when we have our reasons, yeah, when we have our logic, we tend to, how to say, we tend to defend, yeah, our statement. But as far as critical thinking is concerned, okay, you need to be teaching students to be open-minded. Okay, I will tell you why. Because 09 is related to number 10. Okay, so number 10 says here that take, and sometimes you may change, okay, the position when evidence or reasons are sufficient. So it is okay. Let's say you heard, yeah, let's say the students heard from their colleagues or from their members, yeah, for the members of the discussion. Okay, member 1 say this, member 2 say that. And out of the things that were what we call this spoken by all these members, it is fine that the students can take, or the student can change their position. Okay, because they find out that maybe, okay, what I'm thinking is not really reasonable, does not make sense, and now I am changing my thoughts. Okay, so that is fine. So this is actually critical thinking. Okay, changing, okay, making opinions, etc. and etc. But it doesn't stop there. Okay, I have 3 more things. I have 3 more curriculum as far as Anis's critical thinking is concerned. Okay, So when we take a look at number 11, seek as much precision as the subject permits. Of course, we want to be, we want to focus on this discussion, right? So we must be, the precision is very important in critical thinking, okay? And number 12 is that deal parts in an orderly manner. So of course, when you when you have your opinion, okay, and then you are selling, yeah, your opinion to other members or to other people, of course, what you need to do is that you have to make them understand your thoughts, right? So what you need to do is that you deal parts in orderly manner, meaning to say that this is your point number 1, okay, then you go for point number 2, and etc. and etc. You cannot be telling everything in one go, okay, but you deal with it in such a way that it has to be in perhaps chronological orders or in an orderly manner, okay. And sometimes not to say sometimes, at times there may be occasion that you need to be sensitive to feelings, okay. So whereby the engineering students is not really good at this, okay, because why do I say this? Because they are dealing with machines. Not sometimes they are not really good at this compared to art students, social sciences students, okay. So more or less like that. So the point from number 1 until number 13, okay, talks about the curriculum when you are teaching critical thinking, and what more when you're teaching literature to the students. You need to be integrating all these 13 components and of course imparting this to the students. Of course, you as a teacher, you facilitate the discussion, okay, you facilitate the brainstorming and etc. So more or less I did this part, when it comes to me teaching the students, okay. Now, all right, let's just take a look at literature study and critical thinking. I mean, we want to see how these two things are related, okay, interrelated, interoperabilities, how they function, okay. So when we see that, okay, when we talk about reading literature, any literature at all, okay. Now, of course, reading literature actually, in essence, we are constantly making intelligent decisions. Of course, when we my type of genre when it comes to reading literature, I like fiction, okay, mystery. Those are my kind of reading, okay. So of course, when I teach students, I teach them this kind of genre, okay. And of course, I will tell you later, okay, never mind. Right, coming back to this point, reading literature, constantly making intelligent decision, because when you're reading, okay, when you're reading storybooks or when you're reading short stories, for instance, you are making, you are reading, but at the same time, you are making intelligent decision. Why is this woman, okay, blah, blah, blah. And why is this happening to this woman, or why is this happening to this young man? So why must he take this decision, something like that? But you are reading, okay? You are actually how to say communicating with the text, okay? So this is what it means by critical thinking. At the same time, you are reading the literature. Okay, it doesn't stop, and sometimes it is not peculiar. Okay, whereby as a reader, okay, sometimes you cannot put the book down because you want to find what is the ending of this particular story. What happened to this woman, correct? Okay, so this is what it means by you are constantly making intelligent decisions sometimes, okay? Yeah, it is not just like one way kind of thing when you're reading, but whether you realized it or not, I think you realized, okay? When we are reading, we are making intelligent decisions. This woman is not supposed to be doing this. If I were this woman, I would so many things. So for I mean, you are trying to make yourself as the author of that book sometimes, yeah? Right. Okay, now we move on to the second one. Now, the fact that when you're teaching literature, especially in my case, yeah, when I teach literature, I am actually teaching a body of knowledge to the students. Remember? So I'm teaching engineering students. Okay, whatever that I teach students, whatever that I, the thing that I share with students, I want them to relate, yeah, to their areas of expertise. Okay, now let's say, I talk about something. Okay, so I want them to write, okay, to give reasons, yeah, to give their opinions based on what they understand and based on what they know. So this is the thing. Okay, let's say I don't know, maybe you are teaching, in my case, let's say I'm teaching a particular situation. Okay, I'm not sure what that situation is anyway. So I want them to relate, okay, to what they can do as perhaps engineers, as perhaps technologists. So this is the thing, okay, to just to make them understand that, okay, this is the literature and this is the thing that I can do, something like that, yeah. And of course, one obvious thing when it comes to, putting or teaching students critical thinking, and the platform is literature. So my point number three is that you are able to reveal students' reasoning processes, and this is going to be the most interesting part. Okay, whereby you listen to the students' ideas. Okay, why they think the way that the way they are. Okay, why they think such and such. What make them think that way. Yeah. So I'm actually in that environment when I teaching in that learning processes. I am actually also understanding what is in. I am actually, I understand. I need to understand what is in their mind. Okay, and of course, not only in their mind. Sometimes the way they are brought up make them have that particular, or make them say the answers. Yeah, of course, they're the way the way they were brought up by their family. Yeah. Yes. Okay, now this is the book that I always, if I'm not mistaken, when I did my project during my when I did my master's in education, my supervisor was a literature person. Okay, so I still remember her name. Her name is Associate Professor Dr. Saratha Sitamparam. Okay, so very nice lady, very, very, very soft-spoken lady. Okay, now, right. So coming to this part, okay, so this is the kind of fiction, this is the kind of story that I'm going to use, yeah, because as I told you that I like mystery, fiction, and etc. So I remember that in my project, yes, I used Roald Dahl, yeah. So to me, I think Roald Dahl is just I like the way he writes. I really like the way he writes. It is very clear English. It is just so pleasant to read. Okay, his text. That is why I like Roald Dahl. Okay. Anyway, so coming back to what we're discussing, teaching literature, and this is the literature that I use, and also what we call this, how you can ask students to be critical thinker. Okay, so perhaps you can ask. Okay, remember, I'm not sure we still can remember this book, right? I'm not sure whether school in your country or school in India use this book, but in Malaysia, frankly speaking, we don't. It's just that as part of my project, I intentionally use this literature. Okay. Now, as I told you, for instance, okay, this is one example of how I teach critical thinking to my students. Okay, so very basic question. So I asked, what is Mary's motivation in killing her husband? Okay, so in the data that I collected, okay, I asked students to complete journal entry. Yeah, journal entry. So this is the thing that we always do. I mean, we always ask the students to do, right? Journal entry. And of course, I bought books, notebooks, like notebooks, very small notebooks. Okay, so I give to them. Okay, so and I read the book. I read what they wrote. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the keywords that I picked up from the entry, yeah, from the journal entry. There was another woman, another woman, okay. So they talk about Mary, who is very loving lady, but in the end, she killed her husband. Okay, so some of the students talk about very loving lady, but have the heart to kill her husband. And some of the students, this is also important, okay, whereby the students talk about betrayal. Okay, as a English teacher, betrayal is something like, one significant word. Okay, so it's quite interesting when I read the entries made by or written by these students. Okay, so of course it doesn't stop there only. So when we meet, okay, so maybe the person, okay, the student who talk about betrayal. So I actually want to know why you write betrayal. Okay, so we discuss, and I understand that why he or she writes betrayal. Okay, so and then there are of course further questions, okay, whereby I seek answers. Why he writes, why he or she, couldn't remember whether it's a female or male student, why he or she write the way she writes. Yeah. Okay, so that is one example, but I will go more or less a little bit deeper into what I do when it comes to the process of integrating critical thinking in my class. Yeah, and of course with the use of literature. Okay, now in class, okay, whether you realize or not, okay, and especially of course you're teaching English class, okay, and so in University Malaysia Pahang, students have English class for like 3 hours only. I'm not sure about your college, okay. They have like 3 maximum hours, three hours, yeah. So they have like lab is 2 hours. Lab means that they will go to a multimedia lab. Okay, they are going to be in the multimedia lab. They are going to use some softwares, okay, so many things that are installed in each of the PCs, yeah. And another 1 hour is tutorial. Okay, tutorial is just like small lecture kind of thing. Okay, so that is 1 hour. Okay, so when I teach the students, of course, I found that, yeah, you are teaching literature to them, but you can feel that there are direct, indirect class activities that students can engage. What more now that, okay, with the use of technology, okay, I'm not sure whether you are familiar with mahjong paper. Anyone knows? Oh, I will stop there. Okay, anyone knows mahjong paper? It's a mahjong paper. It's like, let me write here, yeah. It's very interesting, yeah. Kejap, you hold on, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm a Malay, yeah. I know when you say acha, I think I know what it means, okay. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, mahjong paper. Okay, so sometimes I like to use mahjong paper, which is very, conventional. Yeah, so conventional in such a way that, okay, you ask students, okay, I give white yellow paper, big yellow paper. Okay, and I ask them to write on that piece of paper. I give them markers, colorful markers. Okay, so yes, I did them. Okay, when I did in that one of the classes, with that mahjong paper, I asked them to actually draw manga comic. Okay, I think manga comic. Okay, yeah. All right. So this is very contemporary to them. You know, manga comic is a comic, Japanese comic. Okay, so they really like this, and of course, I mean, you know, they are going to group themselves, okay, in such a way that because they really enjoy this kind of direct or indirect class activities. Yeah, so when I ask them, of course, sometimes it is going to be a class project. Sometimes it's a takeaway kind of class activities. Yeah. Now, giving them a project to do like a manga comic, okay, was very interesting to me because you can hear their voices. I mean, you know, the script in that particular the script they use for manga comic. It is really interesting, and if I can show you, I am so proud of them. Okay, having to produce those manga comics. Okay, and I still have it in my office. Okay, very interesting. All right. Anyway, so when I do that, yeah, in terms of asking them, yeah, to write, to write scripts, yeah, for manga comic, I am actually improving students' writing, whether the students realize or not, whether the students realize or not, yeah. And of course, I more or less, like, you know, I exercise students' rhetorical knowledge. Okay, so maybe I ask students, I mean, because they want to write manga comic, right? So they need to know the purpose, they need to know what message they are conveying. Okay, after they understand the literature they are reading. Okay, if they do not understand, let's say in my class, yeah, they need to understand Roald Dahl, yeah, Roald Dahl, Lamb to the Slaughter. So sometimes if they are, I don't know, if they are kind of lazy, okay, I give them, okay, this, wait, yeah, hold on, okay, okay, now, this is another thing that I give to the student, wait, and let me just share it with you. If they maybe do not have the, you know, time, yeah, to read or something, they can, I mean, nowadays technology is everywhere, they can just use, can you see this one? I asked them to read, I mean, I asked them to go to this full audio book with text, full audio book. I mean, I asked them to read, but if they don't want to read, okay, lip reading, okay, yes, they can just listen whenever they are. So what is the reason of me asking them to you know, asking them to go to this website and take a look at what this website is about? Remember, I told you about the way Roald Dahl writes this you know, fiction is really interesting. I mean, it's very basic English. Okay, you know, I think this is very interesting. Okay, engineering students, yeah, I think they can make do with this kind of you know, level of English. Okay, and then you see that another interesting part is that you see the sentence is very short. I'll get it, she cried, jumping up. Very simple, easy to understand, easy to visualize. Sit down. Okay, it doesn't mean sit down. I mean, you can imagine when Mary's husband says sit down, it is not in a good manner. Okay, Mary's husband is a police officer. So that is why I asked them, okay, please, if you do not want to read yourself, you can just go to this website. I mean, you can just go to this you know, YouTube, and you know, play the video, and the narrators will read the whole text for you. It's a full audio with text. Okay, so this is the thing. And of course, you just imagine that they are all the time with their phones. Okay, they can listen wherever they are. Sorry, yeah. Okay, now, all right. Hold on. Okay, so sharing. All right, I move on. You know, I will continue with my presentation, with the slide presentation. Okay, so all right, I know this one. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Right. So I talked about number 2 just now. All right. And the fact that, you know, when you are teaching literature, okay, you are, and of course critical thinking, you are making students better critical listeners. They need to listen to their colleagues or to their members' opinions, okay, all right. So, and therefore they need to use their ears, okay, they need to listen attentively, okay. And of course it goes together with making students better critical speakers, okay. After they listened attentively, okay, they need to provide feedback. I mean, they need to provide feedback to their members or to their classmates, okay. So it makes them more or less like become better speakers. And because why I say that, because it tells it can, how to say, it can make students to become better critical speakers, because they have judged, okay, they have made evaluation for instance, yeah, to what they want to say, yeah. Okay, right. Last but not least, okay, I have something, I mean, not last, okay, but I just want you to join me, okay, while, because my battery is low now, I'm going to plug in the battery. Okay, now I just want you to share with me, okay, the book that you, I mean, it gives significant interest, that make you feel that this is one of my, this is one of your favorite, yeah. This is one of your favorite, text, yeah. Okay, can you see that? I shared for twice already. Okay, now can you share? Can you? Okay, can you click onto that link? Okay, and then respond to the, question here. What literature do you like the most? Okay, can you do that? Okay, well, I plug in the battery. Oh yeah. Mhm. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I just. Okay. All right. Not working. Okay. British literature. Okay, good. Okay, never mind. It's not working. Doesn't matter. I'm here. I'm back ready. Okay. Okay, British literature more. Okay. Indian literature. Never mind. If you can't access, you can just write in call messages. So I will read it from here. Okay. Interesting. Okay, frankly speaking, when you are in Malaysia, okay, I think that most of the literature, yeah, are from British literature. I mean, there are some Malays. I mean, if you are primary school, secondary school, they select, yeah, they select some literature from Malaysia, okay, Malaysian writer, okay, but most of the time, we also study literature from, contemporary, like for instance Rodal and etc. But it is not like how to say, it is not compulsory. It is the something's not right with this PC, with this laptop. Okay, feminist literature. Okay, all right. I wrote one thesis. Yeah, I wrote. I examined one thesis. I mean, that particular thesis talk about a very very, how to say, very famous writer. Couldn't remember her name, but she was a modern kind of person, you know what. Yeah, I think, yeah, Dalit yeah, that person talk about Dalit literature. Ya Allah, yeah, very interesting. I told you that,
Malaysian,
the,
Malaysian.
you know, the way the student write the thesis, I gave her A+. Very interesting, very superb, good English. Okay, I've done evaluating hers. Yeah. Okay, now we come back. Okay, ignore your battery is running low. Yeah. Coming back to okay now. Okay, cannot share it. Okay now, right. Okay, all right. So last but not least, okay, there is something that that I want you to know, that when it comes to this part, okay. Yeah, okay. Hey, okay. Some of you can join me. So you see, there are a few 46 plus can join me. Hold on, yeah. The you know, the laptop is not cooperating. Okay, where will we blah blah blah, done with this thing. Okay, here. Okay, now. Okay, now in my case, when it comes to me, okay, doing this more or less, yeah, like when I did my critical thinking, yeah, class, you know, I use this method, that is a dialogue teaching method. Okay, so this dialogue teaching method teaches students how they can interact, yeah, with the text, yeah. Okay, now this is the thing. All right. So the dialogue teaching method, as you can see here, this is how you are going to, you know, how you are going to conduct, yeah, when it comes to the dialogue teaching method. So it first is that you need to engage students in meaningful responses to reading. Okay. Of course, meaningful resources, meaning to say that they need to understand the text first, yeah. So that is the thing that you need to do. Okay, right. So the second thing that the students will be doing is that something is not right here. Wait, yeah. Wait. Okay. Okay, this is the part. Okay, wait. Send. Okay. All right. Okay, what I tell you what. Okay, can I shift to my phone? Okay. Well, wait, yeah. Not sure why is this laptop not working? I mean, not cooperating. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Okay, I will join you. Hold on. Yeah. Something is not right with the laptop. Cannot. Okay. Okay, I will use my phone to join. Yeah. Okay. All right, join now. Click that. All right. Okay. Oh, I'm still here.
Kindly unmute yourself, ma'am. Your one device has got disconnected. There is no problem in that. The another one is connected, but yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, it is audible now, ma'am. It is audible.
All right. Okay, now we're using process to implement dialogue teaching method. Yeah. So you need to be doing that. The first thing is that you need to engage students in a meaningful response to the literature. Okay, so that is the first thing. But of course, when they want to engage themselves, they need to understand the text first. Okay, and therefore, the reason why I ask them to read the book first. So that is the first step that I do. Okay, all right. And now, when you are asking students, to group themselves, so at this stage, what I did was actually ask them. I asked them to compare their reasoning to other people's reasoning. Yeah, of course, as I told you, when we make reason, when we have our own logic, we sometimes need to read from somewhere. That is one. Sometimes we may have our prior knowledge. I mean, we may be from our experience. Okay, which is also the things that you need to do when you are comparing your own reason, compare your own reason with other with your friends' reasoning. So for number 3, what I did was is that as a teacher, sometimes, it's not sometimes, it's all the time that you need to review their replies. Okay, why they say as such. Okay, and then here comes, I can, when I teach this session, okay, the literature session in my class, this is the best part. Okay, where I review their, their reasoning. Okay, I in such a way that this is where I understand my students better. Okay, so this is a very great part. Yeah. Finally, and of course, as a teacher, okay, you cannot run away from giving students more or less like, to gauge, to make us know that, hey, they have learned something. Okay, so what I did was, of course, I give them activity, or I give them test or assessment. Assessment, of course, in terms of in terms of group work, individual work, or maybe you can do it pair work kind of thing. Okay, so those are the things when I teach critical thinking to my students. Okay, so I believe I have been talking like more or less like 43 minutes already. Okay, maybe the things that I taught here, I mean, it's just some to you, I mean, to most of us, most of us, are very basic. But as a teacher, or as a teacher in an engineering university, these are not basic to this. These are not basic. I mean, these are something that they don't know at all. Okay, meaning to say that they have zero knowledge. So as teaching, what we call this, teaching literature is concerned in the engineering classes, sometimes I personally, kind of struggle, because I need to find ways how I can make students understand. Okay, what they're learning, the literature that they are reading is relevant, to their, how to say, to their areas. Okay, more or less like that. Yeah. Okay, so I think that will be all for the things that for the things I cover, and of course, remember that remember the first slide about quiz. So I think I basically have touched all the the points in this lecture. Okay, all right, that will be all. Yeah, Prof. Prof. Hold on.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. So it was really again an insightful session. So if there is any query, a viewpoint somebody wants to share here, so Zarenal is available with us. So if anybody wants to ask something, so
Prof, how do I pronounce your name?
it's
Sorry,
Dilsher B.
Prof.
It's Dilsher B Singh.
Dilsher B.
Maybe
Dilsher B.
You're getting a name on the profile. Dilsher B.
Quite sorry to say, quite difficult to pronounce. Yeah, Dilsher B. Okay, quite difficult.
Dilsher B. No problem. So, is there any query? If any participant has any query? So the session is open for dialogue.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes,
Dr.
sir.
R. Samanai.
PPTs are nice, madam, but they have some technical problems. The continuation is not understanding, madam. That is main cause. Disturbed, madam. PPT. The after sections, after continuation information, I can't understood, madam. That is the main cause, madam.
Sorry, you can't understand which part?
Madam, for this, madam, PPT ended. At the time,
PPT means what? PowerPoint?
Roland Dahl, the showing, no, madam. The image.
Correct. Yeah. I use
PPT is understood, but the remaining also PPT is not understood, madam. And the interpretation, the continuation of understanding summary, that is the main cause, madam.
What is the main concern?
The remaining slides, madam.
Okay, now the remaining slide is about how I use one method. Yeah, that method is called dialogue method. Okay, dialogue method is asking students to interact with the literature. For instance, Roald Dahl. Yeah, for instance, Roald Dahl, and how they can, how they can more or less become become themselves. Number one, maybe. Okay, in Roald Dahl, remember the ending? We still remember the ending, right? That police officer, Mary's her husband. Okay, so when it comes to me using the dialogue method, okay, so I am asking students, okay, I can ask students to twist the ending. Maybe Mary's husband did not die, and etc. Because I want to hear their voice. They now can take the role as Roald Dahl themselves. You understand? Okay, something like that. Okay. Bottom line is that I want to hear their voices out of their reading. Okay, reading that Roald Dahl story, more or less like that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, madam.
Yeah.
Ma'am Zurena, Dr. Jayaprada Nadella has also question to ask. She's raising her hand.
It was really a good session, ma'am. Very informative. I have a question with you. Like, when it is meant for the target group, like you are teaching for CSC, computer science engineering students, either irrespective of the country, I believe so. When we are teaching for a certain target group of a literature, I believe so, because mostly what my observation is, like only maybe 1 or 2 sessions they will be quite active or they get bored. So is there any method or a certain methodology with the students to get involved? Because as you said, they are more on the technical side. How to make them to believe that even the literature or the language is something which is a part of all those things?
doctor, for the question. Yeah. So first is that what I do when I in the class. Okay. I give them very simple survey. What do you expect from me as a teacher? Okay. So from there I know the kind of activity they like. Sometimes, sometimes the students, I still can remember one of the students say, I like to watch movie. Okay. I still remember because why? Because it so happened that I like to watch movie as well. Okay. So when I teach literature as much as possible, okay, like Roald Dahl, okay, Roald Dahl, there are quite a story, quite a number of story in the movie that is more or less similar, more or less, yeah, similar to Roald Dahl's, yeah. Of course, in Malaysia, in India country also, there are so many Netflix movies, right? Okay, I chose, I couldn't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, I chose one from Netflix. So I asked them, okay, because they are very much into movies, yeah. So I asked them, okay, please watch this movie, okay, blah blah blah, because it is related to this Roald Dahl's story, okay. So they watch, okay, and then when it comes to the session, the session is kind of more interesting, okay, because what I did was I am actually, giving them what they like to do, especially when it comes to literature class. You can do that, yeah. You are going to integrate movies, yeah. And of course, in my lecture just now, I talk about how you can write manga comics. That Japanese comic, they really like that so much. I mean, they are good at drawing as well. All right. And another part is that, especially when you teach computer sciences students, they are very good at, coding and etc. And of course, you can ask them another interesting applications. Yeah, is Canva. Okay, you can ask them to make posters online posters, and then share with me. Yes, I did that. And I always tell the students that, okay, this is the thing that I like, okay, this is interesting, and sometimes I reward them in terms of reward in a way that you just buy cookies to them. It's just to make sure that they like literature class. So that is actually my intention. When they come to my class, they like my class and they like literature, more or less like that. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another query. We're getting the name Learn Things and Earn Wings. We are not getting the name of the person who is there, but the profile name is Learn Things and Earn Wings. Sir, it is over to you. Sir, is it audible to you? Things and Earn Wings.
Is it in the chat? In the chat, the teaching students to drama activity is how much useful, ma'am? Okay, I think this is the question, Dr. Pramod. Is that so? The drama activity is how much useful?
No problem. There is another participant who has raised her hand. That is Mehak Agu. So, ma'am, is there any query you want to ask something? I don't know whether they are not getting my voice or it is by mistake that they have raised the hand. And there is another participant, Mandeep Kaur Virk.
Yeah.
Madam Mandeep Kaur Virk. Do you have a question to ask, Madam Mandeep Kaur Virk? Am I audible?
Absolutely audible, sir. Maybe by mistake they might have raised the emoji, I think.
There is another person, Madam Lala Khalid. She's also there. She has also raised her hand. Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am. You are audible.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah,
First of all, I would like to thank Ali ma'am. Thank you very much for such a valuable and pragmatic session where you taught us how to teach literature in a very beautiful manner. But it's not actually a question, but I actually want to know your take on it. That how we can deal with kind of situation where you have time constraints. Because as you said that you're having English class for 3 hours, but I'm working in a college in Kashmir, we don't have that much time that we can spend with the students. So how can we do with this time constraint and at the same time be very effective and teach them all those critical
Yeah.
skills and everything? Then please your
Mm-mm.
take on it.
Yeah. So I will say that, I'm not sure about your class. Okay. So as far as all my classes are concerned, we have WhatsApp group. Correct? WhatsApp group class one. So all in that particular in that particular, they're going to join this WhatsApp. So basically, it is. I mean, you are not going to have problem when it comes to you saying that we don't have time, because limited time to go through with the with the content of our lesson. Yeah. So what I did was, okay, I'm not sure whether I can share this or not. Okay, just hold on here. Okay. So you can have something like share.
There is another participant who wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
I request Manish Kumar to kindly have his question here. So it is over
Thank
to
you.
Professor Manish Kumar.
Thank you so much, Dilsher sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So
Good
can you
afternoon.
see the thing that I shared just now? The thing that I'm sharing now? Can you see?
It is visible.
Yes, sir.
It is visible.
It is visible.
Visible, right? Okay. Now this is the thing. Okay. One of the question is I don't have the time yet to do activities in class. So I just want you to give. This is one example of what I did. Yeah. Okay. Now, right. So these are the work that student did. Okay. Can see Kausalan. Okay. She has this metered one activity here. Okay, so what was the activity? Okay, I scroll up. Yeah, I scroll up. This is one of the activity. I make use the technology. Okay, so yes, first of all, I use TikTok. Okay, this is the TikToks that I use. I have I teach students. Yeah, so yeah, and then out of that TikToks videos, okay, I asked them to respond to the questions that I did. Okay, now this is not literature class, but I just want to give examples of how you can do the same for literature class. Yeah, so TikTok videos, and out of that, I give them simple, simple activity they need to do. What are the activities? So these are the activities. Can you see this? Okay, so they can submit. Let's say you have class on Tuesday. Okay, so since I have like how many questions? Like 6 questions. So I ask the students to submit it. Okay, submit number 5 says that submit the mind map before class week or on Tuesday. So you need to give time for students to submit. Okay, so there is no pressure if you have this kind of activity. You don't have to do it in the class, okay? Because sometimes, I have technical problem just now. Internet, the line was not good. Okay, my laptop is not cooperating. Okay, you can do like this. You have to give the input first, then expect the output like not tomorrow. Maybe you give 1 or 2 days or a week. Yeah, and then you are going, or the students will provide with excellent, with excellent work. You see, sometimes, okay, this is one of the works. Okay, so all of them submitted. So you just click the URL. You are going to see the kind of output they produce, more or less. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that I answered the question. Yeah. Okay. Done, yeah?
This is very commendable, ma'am. Not only on your part, but also on the part of your students. They're quite active with you. And now I'll request Manish Kumar to have his question.
Thank you so much, Dilshay sir. Zurena ma'am, good afternoon to you. And as
Yeah,
we are talking about, developing this critical kind of thinking within, a classroom situation, do you find that there are certain factors which, work as hindrances, on the part of the reader or on the part of the students, right? That they are not able to develop that kind of critical acumen, right? For example, if we, give them a particular perspective to the students for a work of literature is being, read from a post-colonial perspective or a feminist perspective or some any other kind of perspective. Does it limit, that kind of critical kind of scope to the students? The biographical details of an author, if are being provided, does it limit
yeah.
to certain extent?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you that sometimes, because I have as a teacher, my knowledge is also limited, especially when I want to actually combine the students' knowledge with mine. Because you see, I us, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, my background is in education, teaching English, and how I'm going to put myself or put my thinking and how I'm going to think like ingenious. So sometimes, yes, you are true that sometimes I am in such a way that I use the word struggle also sometimes, yeah, to make myself and to make the literature that I ask them to read relevant to them. Okay, but what I did to overcome, yeah, to overcome this kind of limitation, I always use, sometimes, yeah, I can say that technology really saves me. Okay. So that is what I did. Limitation is always there, but sometimes we have to focus on our strength. For instance, in my case, I understand that these students, yeah, these technologists, these futures engineers, they're very much into technology. I myself, as teachers, need to also learn. Okay, so that is the thing that I did. Okay, sometimes you cannot run away from admitting that yes, this is the limitation, but as teachers, we need to think or to overcome the problems or the challenges. Yeah, more or less like that. I question
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you so
Manish.
much,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much. It was really an, informative session. And I really appreciate the way you have, taught us in this session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Welcome. Thank you
you,
to you.
Mr. Manish. Thank you so much, Dr. Zurana Ali. As you said,
Yeah.
a teacher must be a learner, and I think that is the first requirement, and not only for teachers but for the whole humanity. I think. Thank you so much for this insightful and deep delving lecture. Uh, we are really we are feeling something new is happening to us. Thank you very much once again. There is
Thank
an
you.
update for the participants also. The tomorrow's session will start at 12. We'll give the link at 12 o'clock, and you can join at 12, and the session will start at 12:15. And the another thing is, all the participants will have to submit the feedback form. And in the during the last session of the FDP, that is on 16th, we'll give you 30 questions, out of which you'll have to attempt 20. And when you'll attempt those 20 questions only, then your certificates will be sent to you. That is mandatory for the participants. The purpose is that everyone should be attentive to the sessions, because we are here to learn, and we hope that everybody will learn something and will deliver it to their students and to their fellow parts. So now I'll request my colleague, Professor Pravinder Kaur, to deliver vote of thanks for the day. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of PG Department of English of Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, Shri Anandpur Sahib, I extend my gratitude to our eminent speakers of the day, Dr. Charu Mehrotra and Dr. Jorana Ali, for taking time out of their busy schedule to grace this event. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring and encouraging words. I also like to thank our college principal, Dr. Sukhbir Singh, for his immense support and guidance. And I must not also forget to thank all the participants for their active participation. And I'm sure that the participant must have learned new and interesting things by attending today's sessions. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, man.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, one. Thank you.